Imagine this, digging through old Chicago records and stumbling upon something so shocking it makes your jaw drop. A record that should never even exist, a name, a date, and a clue pointing straight to Meghan Markle. But not Meghan the Hollywood star, not the royal duchess. No, this was Meghan as a teenager in 1995, and connected to that name, a baby. A secret baby no one was ever supposed to know about. For years, Meghan's story has been polished, perfect, wrapped up like a glossy magazine cover. Graduate high school, take a gap year, study at Northwestern, Hollywood stardom, then royalty. A flawless timeline, right? Wrong, because buried underneath that polished version of events lies a dark chapter, one that starts in the summer of 1994. And once you see how it all began, you'll understand why those Chicago birth records could hold the most dangerous secret Meghan Markle has ever tried to bury. Picture it. June 1994. Meghan Markle, fresh out of Immaculate Heart High School. While her friends are dreaming about college trips and summer fun, Meghan takes a turn straight into the shadows. She's not hitting the beach or touring Europe, she's heading to Las Vegas. But not for glitz, glamour, or the strip. Number. She slips quietly into a tiny chapel just off the main drag. There, with no friends, no flashing cameras, no announcement in the local paper, Meghan stands beside a young man, Joe Giuliano. Only 2 family witnesses in attendance. No flowers, no music, no celebration. Just Meghan and Joe saying, "I do," in the most hushed, hidden way possible. The ceremony is quick, almost as if it was meant to vanish the second it ended. And then, the twist. Months later, the marriage isn't dissolved like other teenage mistakes. No messy divorce, no casual breakup, it's annulled, completely wiped, and the paperwork, locked up, sealed tight, that's the first red flag. If it was just a silly teenage wedding, why bury the evidence? Why lock it away from the world like it never happened? That sealed record was more than just a legal document. It was the spark that lit a fire Meghan has been trying to put out for decades. Because when you start hiding things that early, you don't just erase a mistake. You leave a hole, one big enough to swallow an entire truth. On paper, Meghan's life looked neat. Graduate in June 1994. Take a gap year. Then, by fall 1995, she's a bright-eyed freshman at Northwestern University. Perfect, right? But that so-called gap year, that's where everything falls apart. No exchange program paperwork, no study abroad evidence, no photos from European trips, no government records confirming her whereabouts, nothing. For 12 long months, Meghan Markle's life becomes a blank page. And that blank year, it lines up almost perfectly with 2 explosive events, her secret Vegas wedding and an alleged pregnancy. Think about it. While the official story paints Meghan as a young woman finding herself, what if she wasn't finding anything at all? What if she was hiding? What if that missing year wasn't about self-discovery, but about concealing something so big, so damaging, it could have destroyed the carefully crafted image she built later? That missing year is more than suspicious. It's the perfect camouflage for a secret that began in a Vegas chapel and ended with whispers of a baby in Chicago. To understand what happened next, you have to understand Joe Giuliano and the family Meghan married into. The Giulianos weren't Hollywood. They weren't chasing fame or attention. They were a traditional Italian-American family, rooted in Chicago, private and protective. Their world stayed behind closed doors. Joe himself, known as loyal, calm, and deeply family-oriented, the opposite of chaos. He lived by strict values, family first, marriage before children, handle problems in private, not in public. Now imagine the clash. Meghan, who dreamed of lights, cameras, and fame, colliding with a family determined to stay silent and keep traditions alive. Meghan wanted the spotlight, the Giulianos wanted shadows. This wasn't just a teenage marriage, it was a collision of worlds. And that clash, that's what set the stage for the decision that would haunt Meghan for the next 30 years. By mid-1995, the whispers were no longer whispers. According to sources connected to the Giulianos, Meghan discovered she was pregnant just months after that Vegas ceremony. And then, the turning point, a baby girl allegedly born that summer. But here's the shocking part. Meghan didn't raise her. Instead, she agreed to an arrangement. The Giuliano family would take the child as their own. No adoption paperwork, no official filings, no baby announcement, nothing. It was as if Meghan Markle's child had never existed at all. This wasn't an accident, this was a choice, a deliberate plan to erase a baby from Meghan's story and protect her future in the spotlight. The Giulianos, with their strict values, embraced the child as part of their family. Meghan? She stepped away. The baby girl grew up in Chicago, safe in the Giuliano household. She went to family cookouts, birthday parties, and holidays. But officially, she was invisible. Her real mother's name erased. Just months later, Meghan and Joe finalized their annulment. But once again, it wasn't simple. The annulment was sealed instantly, locked away, hidden. Not the kind of record you expect from a teenage mistake. For Meghan, this was the clean break. She never called, never visited, never looked back. From that moment, the Giuliano chapter was erased from her life. But Joe, he stayed. He visited the child, remained in her life, raised her within the Giuliano circle. Meghan, meanwhile, was already preparing for Northwestern University that fall. She traded her role as mother for freedom, education, and a blank slate. The deal was clear. Meghan got her future. The Giulianos got the baby. And one unbreakable rule: no one must ever know. From here, Meghan's story splits into two completely different worlds. In Chicago, inside the Giuliano home, a little girl grows up quietly. She plays in the backyard, goes to family barbecues, and blows out birthday candles, but no one outside that tight circle ever hears her true story. Neighbors see her, of course. She's at the cookouts, the holiday dinners, the Sunday gatherings, but whenever questions come up, "Who's that little girl?" the answers are vague. "Oh, she's family." And that's all. No details, no explanations, just silence. No school newsletters mention her. No public records tie her to Meghan Markle. On paper, she simply doesn't exist, but in reality, she's right there, growing up under the Giuliano roof, living a normal childhood but cloaked in secrecy. Meanwhile, Meghan is reinventing herself. By fall 1995, she's a Northwestern University student, joining the theater program, making new friends, and crafting the image of a girl destined for stardom. The Vegas chapel, erased, the annulment, buried, the baby, silenced. She steps onto a brand new path, determined never to look back, and the silence holds. For years, it holds. But silence never lasts forever. It always leaks. And the leaks started close to home. In Chicago, the whispers never vanished. They were never screamed, never posted online, but murmured quietly in kitchens and passed around like secrets too heavy to say out loud. Neighbors recall seeing that little girl, always present, never explained. Family friends remembered odd comments. One recalls hearing about a mysterious Vegas situation involving Meghan. Another, in an unguarded moment, slips up and refers to the girl as Meghan's before she was ours. 7 simple words, but heavy enough to break through 30 years of silence. These weren't internet rumors. They weren't TikTok theories. These were memories. Real, raw, spoken quietly by people tied directly to the family. And memory, unlike sealed court files, can't just be erased. As Meghan climbed from college student to actress to duchess, the secret never truly disappeared. It was just waiting, buried under layers of silence. And now, step into the present. Somewhere in Chicago today, there's a woman about 29 or 30 years old. She probably lives like anyone else, going to work, checking her phone, grocery shopping, scrolling through Instagram. To the world, she's just another young woman. But look closer. The resemblance is there. The same bone structure, the same eyes, the same bloodline. She's never stood next to Meghan Markle in public. She's never been introduced as her daughter. But her very existence ties back to that summer in 1994, to a Vegas chapel, to an annulment buried under seal. This isn't some wild fan theory. This is about a missing family member, hidden in plain sight, separated from her real name by a deal made in whispers decades ago. And here's the chilling part: she may not even realize how important her story really is. Because for 30 years, silence has been the shield. Sealed annulment records, a missing gap year, a child raised under someone else's name. Every single piece was designed to keep two worlds apart. Meghan's polished Hollywood to royalty story on one side, the Giuliano family's quiet protective circle on the other. But silence doesn't last forever. It only takes one slip, one document, one voice to bring it all crashing down. Ask yourself, if this was just a teenage mistake, why were the records sealed? If no child existed, why would the Giulianos raise a little girl in silence, never tying her name to Meghan? Why keep such an airtight lid on the story unless there was something to hide? The truth is fragile, but fragile doesn't mean weak. It means one small crack could shatter everything. Now imagine that moment. Imagine if the daughter steps forward. Imagine the headlines. Secret baby of Meghan Markle found in Chicago. The press would go insane. The questions, the interviews, the fallout, monumental. Hollywood gossip sites, royal watchers, even mainstream media. And Meghan? Her entire image, the carefully polished timeline, the crafted royal persona would unravel in an instant. This isn't about idle gossip anymore. It's about a secret buried so deep, protected for so long, that if it comes out now, it could change everything. Because here's the kicker: once the silence cracks, it can't be sealed again.